Record it.
Okay, can you, I should have done this.
Oh yeah, no, I
can
know what
share
you
my
mean.
screen.
Yeah, I just did it. Yep. You should be good.
All right. How many educators does it take to screw in a light bulb, right? All right, so we have the Calculus Project, and we have what we call the Calculus Project and Leadership Academy, and really there isn't a significant difference except the fact that the Calculus Project and Leadership Academy takes place on the campus of a college. The one that's at Boston University started in 2015. And we started at UMass Lowell last summer, 2021, but we started it virtually because of the pandemic, of course. And so we're excited to welcome students to the campus of UMass Lowell. When the numbers went down, we were able to get a few of the students onto the campus one Saturday, and they got a chance to walk around the campus, and we ate in the dining hall. So it was a really good experience. And so the idea is to partner with UMass Lowell. UMass Lowell is very interested in, recruiting students from the area to attend UMass Lowell. And they recognize how important math is for students' post-secondary experiences and providing students options. So they're very much a good partner and invested in, the success of this program. So just to tell you a little bit about the Calculus Project, it is a program, but it's also a nonprofit, excuse me. And our goal is to use research-supported strategies to dramatically increase the number of Black and Latino and low-income students who excel in honors and advanced level mathematics. And so what I'm going to do this evening and explain to you why this is so important. And hopefully after I share this information with you, you'll feel that it's compelling and think that there's a sense of urgency for your children to participate. I will say this, in addition to being a mathematician and an educator, I am a father, and both of my children, my son participated in the Calculus Project. He's now about to graduate from Bridgewater State, and my daughter is going into the 11th grade next year, and she participates in the Calculus Project in Brookline. So this is something that I believe in so much that I subject my own children to it. So you know that it has to be pretty good for your children as well. So let's talk about how you can save money when your child attends college. What a lot of people don't know until it's too late is that colleges too often, they ask students to take a placement test. They ask them to take a placement test in math and then in English. And then if they don't hit a certain score in both of those tests, then chances are that student will end up being placed into a remedial math or remedial English course. What a lot of students and parents don't realize is that even though a student may pass that class, those credits don't count towards their degree, doesn't count towards their graduation. And too often, families have to pay for those classes out of pocket. So as my grandmother would say, money saved is money earned. So if you're saving money by not having to pay for remedial courses, you're actually earning money. I know this from personal experience. My son went to Bridgewater State, and he had to take a placement test called the AccuPlacer. You can actually look it up and download the problems and see what type of math problems they ask students, but it's called the AccuPlacer. And my son took calculus his senior year in high school. And I credit the fact that he took calculus, that when he took this test, he passed it, so he wouldn't have to go into a remedial math course. So I've experienced this firsthand. The other thing, excuse me, that I just want to point out to you, there's several organizations out there that really help students go to college for free. And so these organizations, they want students to have honors and advanced level courses, not just in math, but in English. They look for AP courses. Those AP stands for Advanced Placement Courses. And for those students who, check off certain boxes as well, they have a greater likelihood of being admitted into these programs. So if you look at the bottom, I have Thrive Scholars and QuestBridge. You can actually Google and look up these organizations. They work with colleges that fall into one or two categories. Either they are a no-loan college or a low-loan college. These colleges have enormous endowments. They have so much money that they can actually give out money to students to go there for free. However, the money that they give these scholarships to, the students that they give these scholarships to, they want them to actually check off multiple boxes. And what I mean when I say that is they're looking for students who are first generation in their family to go to college. They're looking for students of color. And they're also looking for students who fit a certain socioeconomic background. So, for example, if there's a student who is in a family, part of a family of four, and the total household income is $75,000, then that student would actually qualify for, these programs. However, they're also looking for students to have SAT scores or ACT and to have the rigorous coursework to match, because these are some of the best colleges, the most competitive colleges in the country. And so the admissions, the way that they're selecting students, they really have high standards. But what these programs do, if students get into these programs, they provide students with college coaches and basically their own personal college counselor to help them throughout the process, starting from their junior year until their freshman year into college. And then they provide additional supports until students graduate. So really, these are just two programs. There's several of them out there, but these are the two that I'm most familiar with. So I mentioned, saving money is earning money. This is a graph, a graphic from Education Week that really helps you to kind of understand and see what I'm talking about with regards to remedial courses and, the negative impact that it can have on students. If you look at the top part, 80%, that's the percentage of students who take remedial math classes in college and fail to complete a college level math course within 3 years. So when you think about STEM, which is science, technology, engineering, and mathematics, it is very important for students to have a strong math background. But when you think about students who end up taking a remedial math course, you think about all of these options that students have in STEM. Those doors are going to be closed if students do not have a high level of math literacy. If you look to the left, it also, at the bottom part, it talks about the percentage of US college students who require remedial coursework. And so it breaks it down to 2-year community colleges and then 4-year colleges and universities. So I just let you take a look at the data here. Does anyone have any questions so far? You can also feel free to put questions in the chat box as well. All right, great. So advanced math equals college access. Here's an interesting statistics. When you look at completing advanced math courses in high school, the higher the level of the math course that you complete, the greater the likelihood you're going to graduate within 4 to 6 years, which is very interesting. And when you think about just all of the majors that a college offers, students always have to take at least a college algebra course. And then they also end up taking a statistics course as well. So really what you want is for your child to have that rigorous coursework in high school so that when they transition off to college, that they'll have a lot of different opportunities before them. As you know, if you've gone to college, a lot of students tend to change their majors. So if you decide that you want to become a journalist, and then after 1 year, you decide that you want to go into engineering, you need to really be prepared to take on that rigorous math work, which is usually calculus and differential equations. Advanced math equals career opportunities. I don't know if you've been following the Boston Globe, but they've been talking about the Seaport area a lot. There are a lot of biomedical companies that are moving to Boston. Boston is becoming a miniature Silicon Valley, if you're familiar with Silicon Valley out on the West Coast. But a lot of science, technology, engineering, and mathematics companies. If you go over to Cambridge, there are a ton of biotech companies over there. And these jobs offer high wages, high salaries, really amazing benefits. And now you can even work from the comfort of your own home. And the benefits just can't be beaten, especially when you think about healthcare costs. So, one of the things that I've been able to see firsthand, because I've been doing this work since 2009, a lot of the students in the calculus project, they've gone off and they've, acquired degrees in STEM, and they have these very, very good jobs. And it's been life-changing for a lot of them. And I'm going to show you a video at the end with some of the students who were in the first cohort talking about their experiences in the calculus project. So you get to meet some of them. So we're going to play a game. How many of you like to play games, right? Liven it up a little bit. I'm going to stop talking. So the game is called What's This? And so what is this? You can use your use the chat, or you can feel free to chime in.
Hey, I'll see.
I'm sorry?
It's a kiosk to order food, right?
Yeah, what's the restaurant?
I don't know.
McDonald's.
Yeah, McDonald's. McDonald's, that's it. You got it. If you look closely at the kiosk, you'll see a little M there too.
Oh, yes.
All right, very good. 1 for 1. So what's different about this McDonald's compared to a McDonald's that you probably would walk into maybe 10 or 15 years ago?
There's no one there to take your order.
Right, there's no one there to take your order. You put in your order into this little computer thing. There are no cashiers, okay? So they're able to operate this McDonald's with fewer staff people, fewer cashiers. So we know some jobs that have been lost, right? So one of the jobs here is the cashier jobs. It looks like someone's back there cooking fries and someone's making a shake or a salad or something, right? But there are no cashiers. So let me ask you this question. What jobs have now been created with this new Mickey D's here?
I would say people who are engineers.
Very good. Can you elaborate a little bit more?
Well, yeah, they're creating the technology for the systems to be able to incorporate this where it replaces the human aspect.
Yeah, thank you very much. So you got to think about this. Computer scientists or software engineers, they write the code, which means they write the programs that are uploaded into these kiosks so that they can take the orders and that they can get the orders transferred back to the kitchen area, right? So we got software people, coders, but then we have design engineers, right? We have engineers who actually design the hardware that you see before you. But then we got to think about this. You have the people who have to install it and then maintain it. All of these jobs that I'm talking about that have just been created when they eliminated cashiers' jobs are all what they consider STEM: science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. That requires high-level mathematics, students who need to be able to analyze data, students who are analytical, students who have strong computer skills, technical skills, to be able to do this work. And the great thing about this is that, again, these jobs pay well and they will always be in demand. All right, so I'm going to see if we can get this next one here. People rarely get this one. What's this?
Is it a pharmacy?
Oh man, you're good. Who said that?
Nicolette.
Ah, Nicolette, you are good. You got that one fast too. Have you
That's
seen
why
it before?
Ben's invited to this.
Right?
Autofill prescriptions.
Yeah, but you know why I knew it was a pharmacy? Because in the back, it looks like where you would put the orders.
Right, right. Yeah.
So that
So
this is a machine that would take the order and count the pills or something. I don't know.
yeah, so this is actually kind of like the equivalent of a kiosk, but it's a pharmacy. So when you think about, you go into CVS or you go into Walgreens, you see all of these pharmacy technicians there, right? And you don't see any technicians here. So the reason why I'm showing you these pictures and we're playing this little fun game called What's This? I want you to think about the next time you go outside, next time you go to, if you get on the MBTA, how many people do you see taking tokens? I mean, when I moved up here from South Carolina, that was how I got on the train. I, get all these tokens and meet these nice, friendly people who would give me the tokens at the MBTA stops. Really, they weren't that nice and friendly, but anyway. How many people do you see when you're traveling on the Green Line or whatever? You just get your Charlie card and then you just get on the train. But also think about going to Stop and Shop or Roach Brothers. How many of those cashier jobs have been eliminated and you're checking yourself out? So I just want you to be aware of how the world is changing around you, because there are jobs that are being lost, but there are also jobs that are being created. So if you're preparing for the future, this can be a really exciting time because there's so many opportunities that exist. So here's the last one. I'm sure you'll probably get this one because this is probably the hardest picture out of the three. So guess what this is?
Automatic teller.
Yeah, very good. What bank? Can you guess what bank?
Either Bank of America or Santander.
Yeah, very good.
Yeah, based on the red, yeah.
You guys must have a lot of money. You're familiar with the bank. All right.
It's funny because I use local banks, but I boycott these big banks.
Okay.
But I was
All
like, Fred, might be Bank of America.
This is actually a Bank of America. So true story. This was several years ago. I was over, they actually closed this branch. I just drove by not too long ago and just noticed that it was closed, but there was a Bank of America branch over at Cleveland Circle over there close to Brookline. And I usually don't go into banks. I don't have to. I can do all of my transactions from my ATM for the most part, but I needed some quarters for the meter. So I go in and I don't see any cashiers. That's where I'm going to go to get my quarters. This manager comes over and he says to me, "Hi, may I help you?" And I said, "Oh, I just need, $10 worth of quarters." And he said, "Oh, come step into my office." And I was just like, "Yeah, step into an office for some quarters." I mean, that's just so formal. I just need quarters. So he takes me into his office and he gives me the quarters. And I asked him, I was just like, "Man, who's running this bank? You don't have any tellers." And he was so proud that they now have these terminals where people can conduct their business with, they still have bank tellers, but the bank tellers, instead of being there in person, they're popping up on the screen that you see right here. And so I asked him, I said, "So what happened to the tellers who used to work here?" And he said, oh, they were reassigned. So that's the new word for being fired, right? You've been reassigned, okay? You've been reassigned to unemployment. So here's the thing. He takes me over, he, presses a button, and this guy pops up on the screen. And he's the teller. So my question to you is, where do you think the person on this, not this screen, but the screen that I was watching, where do you think they were coming from?
A different country?
No, actually, they weren't coming from a different country. And I asked that, why don't they do that? What I learned is he said that usually with, outsourcing, companies in the United States, they don't like to outsource cybersecurity, number one, to, a country, another country. They like to keep that in-house. The second thing is anything that involves like banking, finance, they like to keep that inside the country, in-house.
Okay.
And so what I learned was that the person was in Florida. So here's what they're doing. Here's how the bank is saving a lot of money. There's no way anyone can live with the wages that they pay in Florida. So what they're doing, they're actually using tellers in Florida and paying them Florida wages to conduct business for people who live in Massachusetts. So when you think about what the minimum wage is in Florida compared to the minimum wage up here, banks are saving money. Saving money is making money. So
and
again,
even probably different time zones too, because then you can have somebody in another, on the West Coast and have longer customer service hours if you need somebody.
absolutely. I mean, so again, I don't have to go through the whole spiel again, what jobs are being eliminated and what jobs are being created. So again, just wanted to make you aware of how the world around you is changing and to take notice, but it also could be a moment of planning for future opportunities and think about, your children, opportunities for them. The jobs that exist today, 10 years from now, we won't even be talking about those jobs. So we're seeing the advancements of technologies and technology and how that's impacting us. The next slide I just want to show you, I won't stay on this very long. We all know how COVID has impacted learning. We know schools were shut down. One of the things I just want to point out to you is that, students lost some opportunities to learn as a result. And so we've been trying to help students catch up. I speak to teachers quite often, and I spoke to them when schools reopened. And one of the things they said, they noticed that students didn't know certain things in math that they should have known. And McKinsey and Company is a company that since school shut down, they've been doing a lot of research around the impact of COVID. So not to spend a whole lot of time on this chart, the one thing I do want to show you is if you look down at the bottom, when you look at the average months of learning lost, they break it down overall as 6.5 months. And then they break it down according to race. The other thing that we have to think about too, we had the impact of COVID, but students were already losing some of the content knowledge that they had learned simply because of the summer slide. And what the researchers say is that, when students aren't doing anything during the summer involving enrichment, that they lose on average anywhere from 2 to 3 months of the content that they've learned. And so I've seen it before as a teacher, you start teaching in the beginning of the year, that the students have seen some of the content, but, they didn't retain some of it. Good thing is I've always seen them, observe those students, easily get back on track. But the whole point of doing this work and your children participating in the calculus project is to accelerate their learning. Give them that confidence, give them that math swag so that they walk into that classroom confident that they're going to succeed and do really well. So I just want to talk a little bit about what are some of the benefits and what are the goals here. Again, I mentioned that the goal is to really accelerate students' knowledge by pre-teaching the math before they go into the class. But, we want to also increase their intellectual confidence as well. We'll have students working in teams to solve some really tough math problems. And, the great thing is it's not all about just, math, math, math. We do want to make sure that the students are prepared, but we also want students to see how math is applied. We're going to have some opportunities for students to go to some of the buildings, the engineering buildings and computer science buildings, to meet some of the professors and see what they're doing, how the math is applied in the real world. We'll have some guest speakers, and hopefully, I don't know, we'll see if we can get a field trip thrown in there. Can't really promise that, but the benefit of having it on the campus of UMass Lowell is that we're on the campus, which means every day is almost like a field trip, because we can go to some of the different buildings and see, how the math is applied in the real world. The other thing that I will say too, that the students really love, is the fact that we're going to feed them, and it's all you can eat, and the food is pretty good too. And so our motto is that we will raise your children's math scores and their BMI. And if you don't know what BMI is, look it up. It'll be nice.
Body mass index.
Somebody knows. So your kid will be nice and chubby and smart. So the other thing that we want to do, we really want students to realize how special it is, and really have them think about and envision themselves on the college campus too. So imagine being on a college campus as early as 7th grade or 8th grade. That experience, and UMass Lowell is they want these students. They want Calculus Project students, and we really want to plant that seed early, right? So that students can imagine themselves on the campus. So that's really, really big for us as well. And, as I said before, bringing in STEM professionals of color to speak to the students, women, Latino, African-American, as my grandmother would say, to be it, you need to see it. We're going to make sure students have those opportunities as well. I'm going to pause for a minute to see if you have any questions.
I do have one question,
Yes.
and this is more like a technical question, because I know that they're to be in the on campus, and I actually have a vacation planned the second week of August. So is there any way that I could still do the full program with my son? Because we go the 13th through the 20th. And obviously, as you can see on the 2nd, it's kind of not applicable. So is this just one or the other?
So this is actually a slide that I use for the BU program. The BU program, it has 2 months for students to choose from, but that's a very large program. So we have to break it up to 2-3 week sessions. For the UMass Lowell, because it's a smaller program, we just have one session, and that's the second one, August 1st through August the 19th. And so here's the thing, I'd love for your child to participate, even if they come for half the time. I'd love for your is it your son, your daughter?
Yes. Yep.
Your
My son.
Yeah, I'd love for him to come and participate, regardless of whether he can stay the whole time or not. Because I think, the benefit of being on the campus and getting a head start with some of the math, I think that'll really be good. So we totally understand, but love to have him come.
Yeah. The first 2 weeks of August, I'm good. That other one will be in South Carolina, and I'm like, I don't know. So that was my biggest question, because it's a almost 3-week program. So.
Okay. I grew up in Spartanburg, South Carolina. Is that where you're going?
Oh, nice. No, we're gonna be just outside of Myrtle Beach. My family is from the Carolinas, so we do a family trip, And
Okay.
they finalized the dates, and then I got this after, and I'm like, dang it. So I want to make sure he still is able to take part in it, but I knew that that was my biggest question.
Okay, yeah, great. Yeah, Myrtle Beach is nice. I've vacationed there a couple of times, so you can't go wrong there. So hope you enjoy
No,
yourself.
thank you.
So so what we're doing each year, we're building this up so that we're offering 5 different courses for rising 8th graders. We're teaching them algebra. So for the rising 7th graders, we're teaching them pre-algebra. The BU program just have grades 8 through 12. This program has grades 7, 8, and 9. And so for the rising 7th graders, we'll be teaching them pre-algebra, rising 8th algebra. The students who are going into the 9th grade, we'll teach them a combination of a little bit of algebra 2 and geometry. To be honest, 9th grade math curriculum is kind of tricky because so many school districts do something different. Some of them teach geometry, some of them teach geometry honors, some of them teach algebra, some of them teach an integrated course of algebra and geometry. So we do our best to cover as much of the topics that we feel are the most relevant. But right now, again, this program is in its infancy at UMass Lowell. So I'm really glad that you're interested in having your child participate with us this summer. I think there's, let's see, I was looking to see, make sure if there are any questions. Okay, all right, cool. I think I answered everybody's questions. So I'll pause for a second to see if there are any additional questions. Okay, well, here's what I'm gonna do. I'm just being cognizant of the time here. I want to share with you a video. These students in the video, they're the class of 2014. So right now they're, grown-ups in the real world. But the Calculus Project originated in Brookline, where I worked for 19 years. These students in the video are members of the first cohort to graduate from that program. And so now all of them, they've gone off to college and they've graduated, and I'm still in contact with a lot of them, and they're doing exceptionally well. But what I wanted to do was share this video just to really allow you to hear some of their comments, because it really captures their experience. What we want students to do is not to just do this one summer or 2 summers. The students who do this every single summer, we see the largest gains, the largest impact for those students who do this every single summer, simply because math is comprehensive. You can't do pre-calculus if you don't have really strong algebra skills. And that's why we want students to continuously stick with the program each year. And so one of the things that we do is that we, train students how to work with teachers during the summer to teach the younger students math. One of the things we recognize is that when students get older, they feel like there's a tug of war, like they have to choose between working or participating in the Calculus Project. And so what we do, we actually pay students to not only learn math, but to teach the younger students math. And some of the students in this particular video here, they worked as peer teachers. So I'll share this with you and then we'll close out.
I'm Calvin Thompson, and I'm going to Duke University in the fall.
My name is Rihanna Page, and I'm going to Bridgewater State University.
I'm Lindsay Westlake, and I'm going to MIT next year. My name's Tahira Salik, and I'm going to Emory University next year.
My name is Miles Malcolm Morris, and I am going to New York University next year.
I'm Gianna Gray. I will be attending Center College in the fall, and I received the Posse Scholarship, which is a 4-year full tuition scholarship.
I enrolled in AP Calculus because since 7th grade, I'd been told, and I've been forced almost to work hard during the summers to spend time in after school tutoring sessions so that I would be on the track to take AP Calculus. So it was almost a foregone conclusion by the time I got to senior year that I was actually going to take AP Calculus because of all the preparation I'd been doing through calculus projects since 7th grade.
I enrolled in AP Calculus because I felt like it was going to be a challenge. I didn't necessarily think I could do it, but I figured, why not try? And if it was too hard, I could drop down. But definitely everyone encouraged me to take AP Calculus. So
I enrolled in AP Calculus because I wanted to push myself. And junior year, my math teacher recommended me for honors, but I believed that I could do something more challenging, and I took AP Calculus, and I'm glad that I did.
I surely would not have taken AP Calculus had I not done the calculus project. It's just like butter and bread. You could not do one without the other and have it be okay, for me at least.
The calculus project played a really big role because I was able to go after school and work with teachers. And in the summer, I was able to get a preview of what the course would be like. So it wasn't as scary coming in. And just knowing that there'd be other students from the calculus project in my class made it a lot easier for me to know that I'd be in AP Calculus, but I'd also have all these other things from the calculus project there that it'd be easier for me to be in the class. I think probably some of my struggles were mostly in freshman year, making that transition from high school to, from 8th grade to high school, which I think a lot of students find really difficult. And so I think for me, what was most helpful would be going after school, talking to teachers, getting that extra help when I need it, reaching out to those resources that I knew were there. And I think I knew they were there because of the calculus project. I'd had that exposure to those teachers and to those administrators that were all there to help me if I needed any of it. Coming to AP Calculus was a very long journey because it was all 4 years of high school, and there just were times where I was very discouraged with myself and I didn't think I could do the math, or I just didn't feel like doing all the work. But I mean, overall, you learn how to become a better student and a better learner. And by the time you're a senior, it's the right thing to do AP Calculus because you have grown so much as a student.
Freshman year, I had a teacher I did not like very much. And I considered dropping down to standard math because I was very frustrated with her and with the material, and I didn't know many kids in my class. It was my first year. I struggled with being in honors, and I wanted to drop down. My dad said it was fine because my dad liked to support my decisions and felt that if I thought I was going to get much better grades than standard, that was all right. When I brought it up with Mims, he told me absolutely not. You cannot drop down to standard math. And he helped me up with a tutor who was in the grade above me. Her name was Sydney Frederick, who's actually at Harvard University right now. She was very close with Dr. Mims, and she worked with me, tutored me for about 3 months. And after that, I was set. It was a combination of that and still going to Cal Project had me on the right track by the end of freshman year. And from then on, I was sort of set. So yeah, that was a pretty big obstacle.
I think definitely, I think what is scary for a lot of students about AP Calculus and math class in general is that it's such a number-based thing that your grade can sort of, it's hard to find any wiggle room there. And oftentimes people get discouraged or upset by the fact that I'm working really hard and I'm not getting the grade that I want. But I think that looking at math class is more of a learning experience rather than just that grade, that you can be in a challenging class and get a lot out of it, even if maybe your grade isn't what you wanted it to be. So I think that just looking at your experience more than you look at the numbers.
Definitely have a support team around you, and go get help when you need it, and always stay on track of your work. Push yourself. Don't settle for good enough.
Okay, so what I'm going to do is put in the box, the chat box, the link so that you can sign your child up. And in the meantime, while I do that, please feel free to ask me any questions that you may have.
And just to the parents who are asking questions in the chat, Ms. Olu, both your children got are on the list, so you're all set. And same with you, Miss Julia. Both your children are eligible to participate this summer. I just checked the list, so we're in good shape.
If you don't mind, please, can you check for me NTORO last names, please? Which one is able to participate?
Right.
What are your children's last name again? I'm sorry, Miss Manja.
NTORO.
Oh, Natoro, yeah. So I'm just
Because
looking.
I got a letter, I don't know which
Yeah,
one
so
was.
Preston. And then don't you have Maurice? Yeah. So
Yeah.
Preston and Maurice, yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, I'm about to put it into the chat. Sorry, my computer wanted to take the evening off. I don't know why I was going so slowly. There we go. So here's a link. I just put it in the chat. So you can go ahead and sign your child up.
Great. And so just some of the details, just to review. So the program will run 3 weeks from 9 to 2 on the campus of UMass, and we'll be sending out specific information about where exactly that is. And parents will be responsible to transport kids to and from each day. So I just want to make sure folks are aware of that. You can certainly set up a carpool or, look at that, look at options that you might want to look into. It's the first 3 weeks of August, just August 1st through the 19th. And we will be meeting with the kids this week on Thursday. Dr. Mims is coming to our school to meet with kids in groups to share more information with the kids, get them excited and get them to want to come.
All right. So also, I just want to put in, if you'd love to check out our website, you can go there and learn more about the Calculus Project. I'm putting the website in the chat box as well as my email. In case you have any questions, feel free to reach out. Let's see. Website.
Are we filling one for each child if you have 2 children?
I'm sorry, with the application?
Yeah, for each child is separate.
Yes, please, if you don't mind, if you could do that.
And we will send this video out to the group and include the sign up link as well. We can send that in a follow-up email.
All right. Well, if there are no further questions, I just want to say thank you. It was a pleasure meeting all of you. Hopefully I can meet you in person someday soon, maybe during the summer. And you have my contact information. And I hope everyone has a wonderful evening. And thank you, Mr. Leonardos. Appreciate you.
Thank you, Dr. Mims. We're lucky
Thank you.
we're lucky to work with
for your
you.
time.
Thank you for being here tonight.
All right, great. Everyone take care.
Have a good night, everyone.
Night.
Thank you.
Thank you all.
You're welcome. Take care.